Welcome, everyone, to today's Explainer. We're jumping straight into some incredibly exciting data today because traditional automotive economics, they're being completely disrupted right in front of us. For years, electric vehicles felt like this exclusive luxury, right? Something with a massive, heavy green premium attached to it. But right now, we are witnessing a literal tectonic shift. We're going to explore the sub-20,000 euro electric vehicle market, specifically looking at how new models, like the BYD Dolphin Surf, are totally rewriting the rules of what an affordable, pragmatic car can actually be.
So, you might be wondering, are you ready to ditch the gas? If you're someone who's relied on a rugged, Spartan, no-frills kind of car for years, think of that legendary, incredibly reliable old Fiat Punto. You know exactly what it means to have a car that just gets you from A to B. It's a tool. Well, the source analysis suggests we can now keep that exact same pragmatic utility, but gain a completely new level of mechanical peace of mind. No more listening for weird engine rattles or sweating over surprise repair bills. That is the new reality we're unpacking today.
Here is our quick roadmap for today's explainer. Number 1, the modern electric shift. 2, native platforms in space. 3, the LFP battery advantage. 4, economics of mechanical simplicity. And 5, the digital driving experience. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the modern electric shift, from pistons to pixels. Okay, the concept of zero green premium is absolutely fascinating here. Historically, if you wanted to go electric, you paid a massive markup for the privilege. Well, that is no longer the case. The whole automotive philosophy has fundamentally shifted. By bringing the entry price below 20,000 euros, vehicles like the Dolphin Surf neutralize that premium entirely. This means electric assets are now immediately viable for budget-conscious drivers and fleet managers alike. It's not just a change in what fuels the car. We're talking about a shift from thousands of complex moving parts to intuitive, digital efficiency that you can actually afford right now. Moving right along to Section 2, native platforms and space, looking at the 3.99-meter sweet spot. So, there is a massive difference in how modern EVs are actually built. Early budget EVs often used what we call IC-converted platforms. Basically, they took a frame meant for an internal combustion engine and just tried to stuff a heavy electric battery into it. The result? Compromised interior space, cramped cabins, and honestly, a pretty shaky, unstable feel when you took them on the highway. Compare that to native EV platforms. Because the architecture is purpose-built for electric components from day one, you get completely optimized habitability and a much more solid, big car feel that delivers superior high-speed stability. It's night and day. So, what does this all mean for the driver? Well, a native, purpose-built platform absolutely wins out. The Dolphin Surf sits right in the industry sweet spot at just 3.99 meters in length. That makes it the ultimate urban tool. Incredibly easy to park and navigate through dense city streets. But because of that smart architecture, it boasts a massive 308-liter cargo capacity. It gives you this segment-blurring interior space where it feels like a much larger car on the inside. And unlike smaller, lighter competitors like the Dacia Spring or Leapmotor T03, this native platform actually handles extra urban routes and highway speeds with real confidence. Which brings us to Section 3, the LFP battery advantage, engineering durability. Let's talk chemistry for a second. LFP stands for lithium iron phosphate. Now, when we think of a battery, we usually just think of a fuel tank, right? But what's so wild about BYD's Blade battery technology is that it doesn't just hold power. These cells literally act as structural reinforcement for the chassis. They form the safe, rigid bones of the car. On top of that, LFP chemistry is inherently stable, meaning it provides world-class thermal safety. It resists overheating in a way traditional batteries simply cannot match. And the data points to 3,000 plus full charging cycles before you even start to see sensible degradation. Let's do the math on that just to put it into perspective. If a car has roughly 300 kilometers of range, 3,000 charging cycles equates to approximately 900,000 kilometers of driving. I mean, almost a million kilometers. That is a level of durability that completely redefines what we expect from a vehicle's lifespan. Which leads to this absolutely fascinating conclusion from the analysis. The battery will effectively outlive the vehicle's chassis and mechanical components. Think about that for a second. For the pragmatic owner, this transforms the battery from a major source of anxiety, wondering when it will die and cost a fortune to replace, into the absolute most durable asset of the whole vehicle. Now for Section 4, economics of mechanical simplicity, or as the analysts brilliantly call it, the maintenance vacuum. If you are used to legacy internal combustion engines, this vanished maintenance list is going to be an absolute breath of fresh air.
Picture the stress of a snapping timing belt ruining your engine, or that expensive shudder of a failing clutch. Gone. Modern EVs like this have no clutches, no timing belts, literally no oil changes, no complex multi-gear transmissions, no spark plugs, and no exhaust systems to rust or leak on you. It is a total masterclass in mechanical simplification. When we actually compare the components side by side on this table, we see that the traditional culprits for catastrophic mechanical wear, clutches, belts, gearboxes, exhausts, they are simply absent or vastly simplified in modern EVs. By completely removing these high-friction, moving parts, the probability of major mechanical failure just drops off a cliff. You're shifting from a super costly, corrective maintenance model to a highly predictable, streamlined ownership experience. And the simplification doesn't just stop at the engine. Even standard wear items are improved. Regenerative braking technology means the electric motor itself slows the car down while recapturing energy. So this doesn't just increase your driving efficiency, it literally cuts your standard friction wear in half, extending the life of your brake pads and discs by about 50%. When you tally all this up, you get the real financial reality of the electric shift. Beyond the massive savings of a lower cost per kilometer when you charge at home, you have the total removal of oil and filter costs. But it gets even better if you live in a city. Depending on your region, you could benefit from significant tax exemptions, like the Bollo in Italy, and you get free or facilitated access to restricted traffic zones. Mathematically, if you're a commuter, the operational savings here are simply undeniable.
Finally, we reach Section 5, the digital driving experience, a pragmatic evolution.
Now, transitioning from a Spartan older car to a modern EV definitely requires a slight mental shift. You are moving from a dashboard full of physical dials and buttons to a centralized, intelligent space controlled by software. But as the analysis shows, this isn't changed just for the sake of being flashy. It is a highly efficient, no-frills approach to driving that strips away the clutter and gives you exactly what you need, exactly when you need it. In practice, this digital command center relies heavily on a centralized 10.1-inch rotating touchscreen. By routing things like vehicle settings and your standard Apple CarPlay or Android Auto through this one screen, there is a massive reduction in physical buttons. And to make sure you keep your eyes on the road, you use intuitive voice commands for things like your climate control. Once you master this interface, it actually creates a much cleaner, safer, and remarkably more spacious cabin environment for you. To help tie all of this together, here is a quick learner's checklist with 3 essential steps for making this electric shift. Step 1, master the interface. Give yourself a moment to just transition those tactile habits from buttons to the screen and voice controls. Step 2, understand longevity over utility. Remember those 3,000 charging cycles we talked about? You are buying an LFP battery that is designed to vastly outlast the mechanical life of older internal combustion cars. And step 3, optimize your infrastructure. To maximize your economic return and keep your cost per kilometer incredibly low, definitely prioritize domestic home charges.
Ultimately, the modern affordable electric car isn't some fragile, complex gadget. It's a pragmatic tool engineered from the ground up to effectively outlast its own chassis. Which leaves us with a pretty massive question. If a sub-20,000 euro EV can now fundamentally outlive traditional combustion cars, both mechanically and economically, how long until the legacy auto market as we know it completely ceases to exist? Thank you so much for joining us for today's Explainer, for exploring the future of mobility with us, and for taking the time to uncover these incredible insights. Stay focused, keep learning, and we will catch you next time.